Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Captain Sean Greenhill of the Clockwork Mechanalists. We are a local steampunk enthusiast group, and to my right is Mr. Kensai, Miss Marie, and of course my lovely wife-to-be, Lady Cheyenne.
Sit down, there's plenty of chairs.
And please come here. We're just doing introductions right now. As I was saying, I am Captain Sean Greenhill, and these are some of my crew. Today we're going to attempt to teach you all about steampunk from A to Z. Now, it's very simple. We're going to have you call out a letter. As you can see, we have the letter board. We're going to take a card off the letter board and read from it, and then there'll be little concepts on it and whatnot in regards to steampunk. So hopefully, if we can get through the whole alphabet, maybe we'll kind of taught you something, or we'll be as confused as you are. So let's get the process started. Someone please yell out a letter.
C. C.
Right off the let's see here. Let's see.
Easy word.
That just totally ruined my binder. Well, I think we should just carry on. Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high. Though my mind can think I still was a madman, though my eyes can see I still was a blind man. I hear the voices when I'm sleeping. I can hear them say, everybody, carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Okay.
S for steampunk. S. Yeah. Alright, well, we'll take this one here, and just because I feel like it, I will say society. Society is a really big thing in the steampunk, because it's not only just the matter of building upon worlds that exist in some literature and other things and stuff. It's building your own world and creating your own thing. We have kind of our own little shared world that we do as a group, but other people might have something a little bit different that they do, or something. It really is just all a matter of your imagination. Just take off with it. You come up with something and you fly with it, whether you want to do a more sort of Victorian-esque thing, or you want to do a post-apocalyptic with gears. You know, it really is just more of a matter of taking the elements of things that you like of the Victorian era and go wherever you want.
Okay, next letter.
M.
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 Inside.
Machines.
Oh, good for you.
Well, I'm the engineer. I ought to be working with machines. Machines are one of the core pieces. We use clockwork and steam engines a lot for steampunk designs. A little bit of Thessalonian. But overall, a lot of it boils down to technology based on a lot of storylines. They can also work on magical base, depending on your storyline. Machines are pretty much the core of most airships.
Okay. Next letter.
I.
Hi. Innovation, invention, imagination. We do a lot of inventing with the steampunk. Like I built this blunderbuss out of spare parts. Basically, 2x8 plumbing parts, old thermometer, wooden purse. Invent all kinds of good gizmos.
You know this.
Okay.
It really is a matter of taking, it really is just going farther beyond your imagination. You just take the things that you see and you look at them a different way. You know, so it's really is all what we do. The three eyes really do go together.
The Victorians were futurists. They perceived a world in which technology and humans would live together in harmony. Next letter.
L. L.
There you go. Let's see. Well, we got three of my favorite things: ladies, literature, and loyalty. All right, well, I'm going to do all three. Ladies are a core component of steampunk in that, yes, we've heard the term Victorian ladies and Victorian gentlemen, but it also applies in the sense of being ladylike, carrying yourself in a certain manner. Being a gentleman is also carrying yourself in a nice, polite, never hurts to open a door, never takes a moment to, you know, say something polite or nice to a person. What is it, loyalty and, what are the other ones? Literacy. Oh, okay, well. So it's early in the morning, I haven't had my coffee. H.G. Wells and Jules Verne are considered to be the forefathers of steampunk. Now, steampunk in and of itself does not actually exist as a genre until 1987, when K.W. Jeter coins the phrase in a magazine interview in response to criticism about being a cyberpunk. He says, well, now I'm doing this thing, and you know, that you say is all gadgets and goggles, and it's my hope one day that people will call themselves steampunks. So, that leads to loyalty. Well, I have 4 people up here, well, okay, if I count myself twice, that's 4 of us. Laugh, damn you. Thank you. Loyalty is something that is earned. As captain of the crew, I have to earn their loyalty, and they have to earn mine. As members of the group, we are all loyal to each other. Here we are putting on costumes, putting on this panel to entertain the likes of you. So, next letter.
Z. Yes, this is one of our more high ones. Zeppelins. Zeppelins are actually, because a lot of times you have in the steampunk genre, everybody's always talking about airships, piracy. But the airship was something invented by the steampunk literature. The airship, as we know it, the fantasy style one, is not the actual Zeppelins. Zeppelins are a bit different, they're the actual reality. And sometimes you can take and mix a little bit. It's always fun to take the stuff that people have already created, but sometimes it's more fun to just go back to the original.
Also, you'll see 2 types of airships. Some that actually have a Zeppelin attached to like a galleon or a schooner. Others would be just kind of by themselves. So you can play with it in different ways.
Fantasy fiction and film. I'm doing some of the fiction with literacy already.
H.P. Lovecraft. Oh, that's always something fun. That's kind of something we've more stolen than anything.
Well, I got grandfathered in, actually. Lovecraft himself did write several stories that take place in the 1890s. So, by default, Cthulhu is kind of in the steampunkish genre. If you've ever played the tabletop called Cthulhu, there's a whole supplement called Cthulhu by Gaslight, which takes place in the 1890s. Steampunk is a fictitious world. It is totally made up. We are not time travelers. We do not have an airship. No, that does not work. But you'd be amazed at how many people actually take us seriously, which is good because we want you to look at us with open eyes and an open heart.
Pew.
Which is what I missed earlier by singing the song.
All together.
God save the Queen.
Okay.
This again is one of the most important things. With Queen Victoria, she's the one that named the era. So, you know, therefore it really is a big thing that a lot of people need to, you don't need to, but you can, it's a thing to think about, as well as Queen Victoria being a big part of things. No matter what part of the world you're in, everybody knew who she was.
I can also throw quality in as well. When you do make stuff, don't worry about if it's not perfect. That's kind of the happy idea, is that you made it yourself. I mean, after all, I have very little talent at all. She makes most of the stuff. And yeah, granted, this is a spittoon, okay, for all intents and purposes. But with a little imagination, it's a laser rifle. So the quality is more objective.
Yeah.
Okay, no, subjective. It's more subjective. Whereas I feel like I'm being subjected to torture right now. Next letter, please. The thing the parrot is looking for. Blindside. The unknown. Well, X is... Oh, yes, I have that. Penicillin clears right up. Xenophilia is a fear of the unknown, which, see how I segment like that? The Victorians actually did have a really massive case of xenophilia, especially when they went to the deeper parts of Africa. No one had ever been there before, so they didn't know what to expect. So naturally, they reacted badly, bang, bang, when they came across things they did not know. Xenophilia also applies to the sense of you don't have to be human to be a steampunk. You can be an elf, you can be a troll, you can be a goblin, a fairy, you can be an anime character. It doesn't really matter. It's just all really a matter of what suits you and what makes you comfortable to bring you to the genre. Next level, please.
Tea.
Yes, please.
I really use that. The child just go with tea. It's one of our favorite things. You know, some people drink coffee. A lot of steampunkers tend to go for tea. You know, and it is a thing just to think of. It's more than just getting in the costumes and stuff. Oftentimes it's even just a whole mindset. You're getting into the part of your character. Coffee was only slowly just being invented because it was discovered here in the Americas. You know, and then slowly traveled its way around. Or, no, actually it was the Turkish coffee as well.
The Turkish coffee came along the Silk Road.
Yeah, it came along the Silk Road and everything, but the most coffee that actually has been started growing here. I know America got really big into coffee. British, we're still active.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, we had an O over here and then a K over there. Okay, so.
Well, we'll just...
You go O first.
Yeah, do O first and then we'll do K.
I believe it's good. Or...
Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, really? All together?
Yeah, let's try that again. Really? That one was more about...
Okay, let's try the Q again. What's your letter?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
We can fix this in post. We'll do the carry-on song one more time so we get the Q right.
Too many potholes.
You watch yourself. Now, O can also stand for...
An oscillating machine.
Oh, you be quiet. If you're not up here, you be quiet. Organization, thank you very much. There's what we have, or lack of.
Some days we have it, some days
We always encourage people that you don't necessarily have to join us. If you want to start a group of your own, that is totally cool and fine. We'd love for you to join us. But, you know, hey, that's just the way it is. But organizations like the Dutch India Trading Company actually ruled the world in the Victorian era. And can you imagine if they had airships? Oh my. You know, so, okay. Who's that?
I'm holding K at the moment. We'll just go with knaves.
We got a bunch of those.
Yeah, hardships and demons, just figures opposite, sorry. Saying something, that's not fun. But, you know, it's like a lot of times, especially among the steampunk genre, when you get around to a lot of the cons and everything else, you find a lot of pirates and, you know, and ne'er-do-wells and mountebanks and all kinds of interesting characters, as well as finding tailors and, you know, well, I met a guy once at a con up north who was a document salesman. It's like, you have an airship? I have documents for you. It was great. You know, so you do see a lot of, you know, a lot of sort of almost the counterculture that's sort of kind of coming into things. A lot of people are going in the route of being thieves and pirates and other sort of fun things like that, and not just going in as ladies and stuff. You can be, I know a couple fellows who actually do a Western. They do the Weird West. So they go more Western, and we got saloon girls and cowboys and Indians, and it's a lot of fun.
Come on. So, next letter.
W.
W.
Weird, wonder of world weapons. Oh.
Wondering why you
Weapons, weird, my time machine there.
Weird is how I feel.
Going to other worlds.
Weapons is what I have. No, this is yours. The world.
My brain is weird.
Okay, the world. Okay, we mentioned before, you don't have to necessarily be human. You also don't necessarily have to be from America or England. shock of shocks. Actually, there were other countries in the Victorian era. I just learned that yesterday on Google.
Yes.
So, oh, you be quiet. I'm going to drag you down here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Caru. She's a member of the crew, so she's allowed to fire shots off because she knows I'm going to get her later. So, if you want to join the steampunk fandom and you want to make a persona, don't feel constricted that, you know, I have to be Victorian, I have to be from the Wild West. There's a big, wide world out there. I know you probably won't remember, but there's a nice little website called, which I completely forgot on.
We're all having that kind of morning.
We're having that kind of morning. Okay, needless to say, if you want to search online about, you know, non-Victorian steampunk, it's all about, you know, all over the world. So this website talks about different cultures and how they've looked in the Victorian era and how you can adapt that to your version of steampunk. So,
Can we be French?
absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Can we be from India?
Can you be down here front doing the rest of the hour?
No, I'm good.
Next letter.
Hey.
The showdown at the Awesome Corral. Okay. Well, we mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. Airships. Okay, now let's really talk airships. Our ship is called the Memphis Ascendant, and it has the ability to fly into space. Now, the Victorians believed that space was comprised of a form of energy known as aether. All right, it was breathable, and you could actually pass through it as if you were through air, although admittedly a little slower. So the ships would actually have more, if you know anything about physics, drag, and therefore move faster. But we have Zeppelin-powered airships. We have your Buck Rogers spaceship. We have your, you know, anti-grav flying carpets. I mean, there really is no limit to what you could call an airship. But traditionally, when you look at steampunk, you will see the dirigible with a little ship underneath it, the balloon with the fan with the big propeller at the back of it, or you'll see kind of like I said, the Buck Rogers sort of ray ship, spaceship sort of thing. I was going to say ray gun, but there's a subgenre called ray gun gothic, and that's actually my preferred subgenre of steampunk. So we'll get the genre. Somebody picks G.
G.
There you go. That's known as a prompt.
So we'll go with the genre and years and novels. A couple different things. Again, genre, as we've been talking about, you are not limited by anything except your own imagination. There's no one can tell you that you're doing steampunk wrong or right. You just gotta have the confidence to go with it and have fun with it.
Well, don't you do it wrong if you use rainbows, everything?
There is no such thing as wrong in steampunk.
You can have rainbows. I would think a rainbow gear would look absolutely awesome.
I've actually seen My Little Pony steampunk. There is no such thing as wrong.
I'm Googling that though.
But yes, in Gears and Goggles, again, that's also going with something with the genre. There's nothing wrong with anything. And Gears and Goggles tend to be some of our biggest icons next to like airships. You don't have to have gears and goggles. It's like I'm not wearing any gears or goggles, and I'm still steampunk. He has goggles. You know, we have other people who have gears. He has gears on his goggles. You know.
He's also wearing welder's goggles because he's the engineer. I'm wearing more aviator goggles because I go out on the bridge of the ship or on the deck of the ship. And of course, when you're that high up, the wind will take your skin right into your face. So you want to have some kind of protection. Not great.
You know, a lot of times you could take, and if you have a reason for why you would wear those, if you're a traveler, maybe whatever, or if you just like to look at them. There's nothing wrong with using gears or goggles as decorations, but you don't have to limit yourself to, oh, I have to have gears or I have to have goggles to be steampunk.
And a quick thing about the genres, there's a great book I recommend called the Steampunk Bible. No, it has nothing to do with the regular Bible. It's just an A to Z guide, and they list the 10 subgenres of steampunk. It'd be a miracle if I can name all of them today, because I'm just having one this morning. But I mentioned Ray Gun Gothic. There's Boiler Punk, Stitcher Punk, Manners Punk, Diesel Punk, which is kind of the evolution of steampunk into the more industrial age. There's boy, I think you see up next to
Wild West.
the Weird West.
Yeah, the Weird West.
The Weird West, which is basically the Wild West, but with, well, anyone see that movie, The Wild Wild West? With Will Smith? Okay, there you go. So it'll give you an idea of what that looks like. So, let's go to see your thing.
B.
Bolts would probably go better, I mean, to a degree. We bolt everything together. Just those on my goggles. Kind of a short one. Covered most of the books. Botany. A lot of chemicals and everything used in steampunk tea and everything come from botany. Tea leaves from botany. Oils for scents. Oils for lubrication hydraulics. All come from botany plants.
Especially during the Victorian
That's
era.
poisons too.
Well, the more plants they discover, the more botany grew. So, you know, zoology, biology, engineering, mathematics, physics was actually born in the Victorian era with the periodic table being developed for the first time.
And some of the other things, especially the Victorian era, was the time of innovation. They were discovering all kinds of new things, and everything was cool. You know, and so it was the thing you can also think with, especially with botany and everything else. The pharmacy as we know it today is because of Victoria.
You used to have the apothecary, and then the pharmacist comes along. So
they actually had to take tests and know and be graded on what they could do, which actually made for a very interesting thing during that time frame. Because of the way they worded the law to make it so that you had to take a test, meant women could also take the test. And thus there were over, I think in London itself, over 182 female pharmacists.
there were a few jobs that women can actually possess, yes.
Until they changed the law a few years later.
And a quick note on books. If you go to the dealer's room, there are several people selling steampunk-related books. So just stop by the table and tell them you saw our crazy panel and they recommended that you come by. So, what do we have left?
And B.
N.
We got an N and a D.
Okay, one for me, and one for her. Okay, well, let's turn it. Was it doing something? Okay. Well, new ideas. We're always looking for those. As we mentioned just a minute ago, the Victorians were futurists. Okay, they saw a different world, and you might bring your ideas to the group as well, or to your own version of steampunk. As I was telling that young lady earlier, there is no such thing as wrong with steampunk. Never let anybody tell you that's not period. It's a hypothetical, made-up, fictional, alternate reality. How could this not be right when it came out of my head? Just saying. Now, if we all have a shared view of the world, like I said, the mechanalists, we have our own little mechanalist world, that you might have your own little, you know, rainbows and sunshine world, which is totally beautiful and wonderful and fine, and we might actually visit there. God help you. But,
what you said about how come it can't be, how can it be not right came out of my head. But everything comes out of my head is not right.
That's a totally different problem.
Security! There's one in every panel. I'm not to be honest, you know, I'm wearing a costume telling you about a made-up reality off of a genre that I myself am learning about more and more every day. So, I mean, again, who the hell is going to say that we're wrong? I mean, you know, other than, well, maybe the people who, okay, you are going to really get the spanking earlier.
Earlier? Okay.
I'm going to go to the time machine, I'm going to spank you, and that way you'll be able to spank it. Don't connect my jammer. Don't you start. This is why God gave me 2 hands. Okay, next one. What do we got left?
ECPG.
Dirigibles. That's back to the airships.
Yeah, it's just another fancy word for
Dystopia, disclaimer.
dystopia is how I feel right now.
Disclaimer.
You feel your disclaimer.
You're better.
Aww.
I'm better at that. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, train wreck. What's the disclaimer? I don't know.
Well, the disclaimer again for what we've been saying is that no one.
There is no such thing as wrong. Okay,
Yes, no
that's
such thing as wrong. One thing we always is the disclaimer of just be yourself, have fun.
Have fun with it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes a lot of courage for us to stand up here and throw these things back out to you because, after all, I'm a nervous wreck. She's a nervous wreck. I don't know about my companions. They're probably just half insane. And then, of course, you pointing off camera to the crew person who wanted it. Is she
There she is.
But, I mean, again, now you will run into steampunks who will come up to you and they will give you all kinds of hell about, oh, your costume is all wrong, or did you buy that at Party City? Ignore them, okay? We call them steam Nazis.
Or mavens.
Or
however
mavens,
you prefer.
or
And
whatever,
then you
you
tell
know,
them
I
it was
call
a
them
party so it was going.
clockwork trolls, however you want to refer to them. That's what they are. Ignore them. It's all about fun.
Thrift store is my best friend.
Oh yes, the thrift store is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And goodwill is your friend.
The treasure treasure troll.
A treasure troll.
I'm sorry.
The only kind of troll I like is a treasure troll. All right, so let's finish this up here. We got
E. All right. Well, I will go with esoteric. Aside from the fact that that's the shop I run. Esoteric alchemists, again, it's during that time, not only did they discover science and whatnot and stuff and believe so much was possible, they also fell in love with the occult. You know, and esoteric basically, when broke down, just means something different. You know, and so it's eclectic. It's just kind of going out there and having fun with it. If you want to do a seance and make tables shake with your knees, you know, that's always a fun thing to do.
well, that would be Eldritch, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's my roommate. You know, so it really is just a matter of just going out there, having fun with it, researching everything you can about the actual thing, and then just playing with it. In many ways, being that this is a literary genre, writing is your best friend. Whether you're not a writer yourself, or you want to aspire to be, or if you can't string one sentence together without your English teacher crying. You know, it really is just a thing of think about it, have fun with it, have fun with the words, have fun with the concepts, and just take them totally different ways. It's just always the thing we have to stress. It's again, with the innovation, with everything. For the Victorians, everything was new, and it's kind of cool when you actually really think about it. Today, everything is new. We got printers that can print hearts, that can print food. Mm-hmm. You know, we have
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. You can get phone calls just about anywhere in the world.
We mentioned Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla came up with the idea that electricity is all around us. It's just really a matter of perception. So you don't really transmit electricity. What you do is you harness it, and you send it off in different directions. He effectively was conceiving of Wi-Fi. So you can thank him every year on his birthday for your cell phone. Or Apple, whoever you want to think first.
Yeah. It is that thing, though, that when you think about it, is that we are, again, in another era of innovation and invention and imagination. So just really, if you take nothing else from steampunk, take that wonder with you and just look at the world, because you can look at the world through old lenses to see it new again.
And don't wonder why you wasted an hour talking about us. Next letter, please.
J.
J. H. Okay, so J. So J.
One for down there and one for here.
Past history, humor, I'll talk one more, handkerchief.
Yes, I like the don't panic, always carry a towel. Always carry a handkerchief, very handy.
Handkerchief is a towel.
Yeah.
History, actually, would be the biggest portion. We play on history, basing on the Victorian era, and we build from there. Whether we stopped science progression and stuck with what we had, and then continued on through diesel punk, or altered history itself. A lot of steampunk is purely based in history. There's very few moderns, although there are some.
Well, that's some of the things too you can think of as sort of the modding community, which is also a big part of the steampunk community. They'll take things new and make them look old. televisions that look like picture frames, so you have the moving picture in it. Keyboards that look like old typewriters. Guitars that just
Okay, so what's that?
James, Journey. So like our ship, we take journeys.
I think this panel is a journey.
All around the world.
I don't know where we're taking you. We don't have a map. Sorry about the handbasket.
Jargon is a very important word in that she uses it more than I do. I always have to refer to, there's several web pages online you can look up Victorian slang and jargon. Goggles, airships, Zeppelins, ether, Tesla. These are all jargon. These are tropes that you would, like in a horror movie, different tropes would be like snakes, vampires, spooky houses, dark woods. So, I mean, we'll use terms that we make up, like the multiphasic thermal agitator. That's jargon. What? I hear break come from the engineer.
Parts always breaking.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
No, it's not broke yet.
The tie's crooked.
Why not?
Sir, your tie's crooked.
My whole life is crooked.
Which makes it straight.
That's very strange and optimistic. Very true. Yes, so again, this one here, we kind of go with it's a bit more of our humor, one with why. But it's always a thing of, if you kind of touched a little bit on it, always keep a sense of humor. If you can't have a sense of humor, why are you here?
Why am I here?
No clue.
Okay. Well, my parents fell in love and...
A little too far back there.
Tim? Okay.
Alright, so we got 4 letters left.
U.
Okay, we got...
Ultraviolet?
Oh, let's... We got U, V, and R. So we'll just pass that.
Why not?
Okay, so I got R. And we go with R. Retro. Everything we got is retro. It's Victorian Era. Doesn't have to. It can be futuristic too. And repurpose. Again, the props I like to make. That's just
This was a spittoon. That was a purse.
Yeah. With a clock dial on it, radio knobs, 2x8 and plumbing parts. Candlestick.
Yeah, always just look at something with new eyes. It's not so much what it is, what it can be.
Actually, I'm completely made out of munchkin, actually. Okay, I guess I'll just go with D here. Vocabulary. Well, again, mine really is bad. But we also have Victorian gardens. Oh yeah, well you know more about the flowers than I do.
Okay. So you want to flip?
Yeah, let's flip.
Okay. So yes, going with Victorian gardens again. Some of we just have this. They were inventing so many things, including some of the things they invented that were the improvement upon things such as public parks, conservatories, places people could come and view gardens that didn't necessarily grow in their own yard. The Victorians also had their wall gardens, which at that time as well also inspired some of the more modern gardening techniques that we use even today. In mass production of fruits and vegetables, because they were doing this in a very small space. So it's
the window box.
Yeah, not just the window box, but they had the walled gardens, which are absolutely awesome. You can find the BBC, which is really hard to, but there's the BBC's Victorian walled garden. It is absolutely awesome to watch.
Okay, we put a lot out there. Did you get one?
Yes. University, school, Unity. Unusual, I think, is this entire panel.
We're not like that.
The university, a lot of, when you think of modern schools, more started back then, Victorian era.
They're founded in that time.
Would set up universities to teach their children and teach advanced sciences. Mainly it was for sciences. There was less for writing and arithmetic until they started passing arithmetic into the sciences.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry.
I have pirates, persona, and also presentation. Well, yes, we have pirates.
Yeah, we.
Yay! Although if you fall through the ship, it's more like, you don't have to be a pirate. Actually, we encourage that, you know, people say there's no law enforcement. Everybody else wants to be a pirate. There's no law enforcement. Where are the sky marshals? You know, now, we mechanalists are, of course, privateers. It's a very funny little word. It means we'll steal for anybody who pays us, not necessarily for ourselves. Did I say steal? I'm sorry. For sure. Persona is basically what we are. This is Lady Cheyenne St. Croix. I am Captain Sean Greenhill. Of course, Marie and Mr. Kensai. And that's Karu. And, well, sure, there's probably other people in the audience who have personas as well. I'm not going to name everybody because we're short on time. Persona, like, if you dress up as, like, Ichigo from Bleach, that's a persona. You are Ichigo, okay? If you dress up like Pikachu, or if you dress up like Mario, that's a persona. You assume a persona, and then you...
We have the Zeppelins over here, very grand one.
Absolutely. And you do crazy things like, well, get a table at a con, and then invite people to come to a panel. Listen to you ramble on for an hour, like a Captain One here. Sorry, I'm taking my meds. That leaves, of course, presentation is what we just got done doing. As ramble as it is, trust me, this is probably one of our better panels. Battle? Don't start, you're going to give it my head. So I want to thank all of you, and we're going to open up the floor here because we got some time for some questions. So